and welcome back to the Rave Social Podcast. I'm your host, Jaiden. Hello. And today we have a special guest, Jordan from The Space Social. The Space Social was founded in 2020 by Jordan, the same year she welcomed her son during the global pandemic. Insane. From the beginning, her mission has always been to help women-owned businesses confidently grow their brands through social media. She believes that every woman deserves to feel empowered behind the screen. Her favorite part of running the business is witnessing her clients' success, whether they're signing big clients, going viral, receiving an influx of inquiries. She celebrates each milestone with them. Their success is her success. So everyone, welcome Jordan.
Hi, how's everyone?
And today we're going to talk about why you need trust, not more tactics, to make more money in 2025. So I'm really excited to talk about this because I do feel like we can get really caught up in like the word strategy, funnels, like all these like low-key complicated things and whatever we say and do in business, but in reality, like it's very simple and it comes down to trust. So I'm really excited to talk about that.
Me too. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Okay, just to kick it off. I work with coaches, I work with creatives, I work with kind of a variety of people, but either my clients or even just people on social media are constantly saying things like, do I have the right sales strategy? What funnels do I need? That kind of a thing. And my question for you is, because you want to emphasize that trust is really the main factor, can you explain that shift and like what it might look like?
Yes. So I think that in the past, maybe in the past few years, we have seen a lot of businesses who promise a lot of things and those promises don't come through. And I feel like right now consumers are just a little bit more timid spending money in general and hiring people. And so I just believe that, like you've said, that trust is so important. So one thing I love to do right now, and I like talk about this on my social media all the time, is soft selling. So I love to share either like testimonials or examples of current clients I'm working with and the success that they're having, so that if somebody is wanting to hire myself or even my clients, they can put themselves in the position of the testimonials or I even like case studies that I'm sharing and be able to see themselves there and like before they spend the money. And like, I feel like you're the same. I would rather somebody I want someone to come to me who really wants to work with me versus somebody who's just kind of like, I don't know, because I want to have long-term clients. And that's what I want my clients to have as well.
Yeah, I'm so with you. And I love, I mean, I feel like you're like the queen of soft selling. Like you're really so good at that. And I think from my perspective, what soft selling does is like drop those little like truth nuggets. And like, it's like, you can trust me because here's the proof. You can trust me because here's the proof. Like over and over again, instead of just pulling out the testimonials or the case studies when you're trying to like close the deal or trying to like get, I don't know, sell the offer.
Right. Like if you're constantly soft selling, there's never the energy of desperation that I feel like can happen sometimes when you're needing to sign a client or you're feeling like you need to make some more money. Like that energy is very palpable. I think that people have high bullshit meters and they don't want to hire somebody who's desperate to take their money. It just isn't like an energy exchange that I think people want.
I agree. And I do feel like you can feel it as a consumer more so now. Like we've gotten smarter since social media has existed for so long. Like we've seen the same sales messaging. We've seen the same patterns. And like, it's really like, for me, I'm like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Right.
Like,
even like, I feel like one of the most popular ones that probably everyone has seen is when someone's like, I have 3 more spots left. And it's like, okay, I know that if 10 people inquired, you would take 10 people.
Yeah, I know. That is a big one. I feel like this is kind of like a side thing, but one thing I've been seeing in the coaching industry recently is people being like, this post got me $300,000 in leads.
Interesting.
They're like quantifying, they're like putting a dollar amount on leads, which like in some ways I get, because I did work in sales and you did have to quantify. Like I have $500,000 in my pipeline. Those aren't,
Right.
it's like that's what I have in my pipeline. I haven't closed that, but I'm anticipating to close it or whatever. So I get that to a degree, but also lately it's been feeling a little shady because I'm like, okay, if that's true, then one of my clients' posts just went like really viral, and she had over like 150 ManyChat leads in the comments.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And the offer that was going towards, I think, is like $2,500 a seat. So I'm like, I could be out here making these like crazy claims that just like aren't that true. And then I think that like repeating stuff like that over time, like that's what diminishes the trust, because it's like,
yeah,
I don't like, what are you really doing?
And that even seems like that language seems even kind of vague because it's like, what does that even mean? Like you have $300,000 potentially, or you sold 300,000. Like it just feels unclear. And I think that clarity equals trust.
Yeah, that's so real. Like, just tell us like what the truth is. I don't know. It's
like, what do you
mean? Okay, I feel like this is actually a really good question that kind of goes off of that. For coaches who are struggling, it could be I'm using the word coaches, but like it could be any kind of client, who are struggling to book clients despite having like they have a good offer. How do you identify if it's a trust issue? Like, how are you helping your clients determine if it's trust, if it's they don't have good CTAs? Like, how are you identifying?
I feel like it can be a trust issue, but I feel like if somebody's not booking, but they have a good offer, that it's oftentimes a messaging issue. It's like people don't understand really like what the result could be from this, which I guess like does end up being a trust issue, because you're like, I don't know if I trust this person to give them my money and receive the results. So I feel like something I love to do in my messaging and in my clients' messaging is review either DMs or inquiries and use language that people are using to inquire. So if somebody's like, I'm inquiring because I need a good social media strategy, like that's really general, right? But like,
yeah,
I'm using that in my marketing language because like those are an ideal client is somebody who is even applying to be my client, right? Like it's someone who's taking that step. And so I feel like using that language helps, I don't know, I guess build that trust.
Yeah, I think it just gets like really clear on what their problem is.
Right.
I'm like, I do the same thing. I use like discovery calls, like Q&As, DMs for content ideas, because I'm like, you're telling me what your problem is.
Yeah, exactly.
Then like if you're having that problem, so is somebody else. And so like me being able to talk to that problem, it's just like an easier way to communicate.
Right.
I agree with you. Like I do feel like if you're not getting the inquiries or getting booked the way you want to, which those are even two separate things, but it is likely a messaging problem. And when you have like, I think when you have something is severed in your messaging and something is severed in your trust, like you're going to have a really, really hard time converting people.
Right. I completely agree. I also, I just think consumers have changed so much, especially in the last year. They just like are not spending unless they're really confident that there's going to be some sort of ROI. And so you can't just like, you can't have vague messaging or, like a lack of trust in your messaging or like even in your results, because then people just are not going to spend.
Yeah. And I think too, like one way, I feel like the messaging problem comes first. So maybe
I do
you're
too.
getting inquiries. Maybe your messaging isn't the best, but you kind of have inquiries, but nobody's booking you. Like maybe they inquire, they get on a discovery call, they don't close the deal, like that kind of a thing. I think that's kind of where like the trust factor comes in, because it's like, okay, maybe at one point in your messaging you spoke to a pain point and that got them to like inquire with you, but then they ultimately didn't book you because they don't trust that you can actually solve the problem that you're calling out. And I think that's where that like repetitive, like, here's the result I'm going to get you, is so important.
Right. I love to say that that repetition builds your reputation. So like constantly saying, like, I can do this and here's how I do this. I don't think this is the time anymore to gatekeep how you get results, because people just aren't going to hire you.
And like, just because you tell people how doesn't mean they're gonna do it.
No.
I feel like that's like the biggest, people have such a roadblock with sharing their process and sharing their how, because they're like, well, if I tell people how, then they're not gonna need me. But that's just like point blank, like literally not true. You could teach someone how to do something and they're still going to want you to do it for them, because maybe they think you're still better at it than they are. Maybe they just don't have the freaking time to really learn how, and they want you to do that for them. Like, I think you are really limiting yourself if you are afraid that you're going to give it all away.
Yeah, I agree.
You're just not.
I think there's some things, like I know, for example, photographers, like, they don't like to give away locations or something. I think that there are things that you probably learn that like is just for your clients, but I think that most of it you do need to share these days to be able to build trust with them. You're not like, trust me, bro, like, I can get you these results. It's like, no, here's how I'm going to get you these results.
Just trust me. I can do it.
Do you ever like watch movies and you see, I do this all the time. I see in movies that there's a dialogue where people be like, trust me, just like, trust me. And you're like, why? Like,
why would I trust you?
Right. And it's like, we're not trying to be like Aladdin trying to convince Jasmine to jump off the balcony onto a carpet. Like, we have to give solid reasons why they should trust you.
Yeah, or else they're just going to be like, nah. And I think I liked what you said about photographers not wanting to give away locations. And like, that's fine. There's certain things that you just, I mean, the reason you don't want to give away locations is because you don't want them to get ruined, because then you can't do your job, right? As a photographer. But I think where photographers hold themselves back is like, they don't want to show themselves like directing posing or directing the day or anything like that, or even like how they edit.
Right.
Because they think another photographer is going to like steal their editing or steal this or that. But ultimately, like, to be honest, if you're a photographer, you're not competing on the delivery of the quality of your images at this point. There are a lot of really good photographers that have very similar editing styles. You're not competing on that. But what you are competing on is your process. How do you talk to your clients? How are you posing them? That is where you're building the trust, because ultimately you're going to show up on their wedding day and like, they want to be able to trust you and like really know you before you just enter in there. So like, I think that's where the layers can come off. It's like, yeah, you can still hold like boundaries in certain things, like proprietary information you don't want to give out, but it's also like, you could teach people how, you could teach your competitors exactly how you do what you do, and they're never going to be able to do it the same way you do it. Right.
And like, what makes you able to do that is experience, and that's something that you can't just like give.
No, exactly. Like, you can't airdrop that to somebody.
Right.
Okay. I love this one. So how long do you think it takes people to build trust in like high ticket services? Because obviously, like, if something's $40, like, you don't need to trust them that much. You can take a risk on $40. But if it's $1,000, if it's $2,000 or $3,000 or $10,000, like, how long do you think it takes to build trust to close those high ticket offers?
Right. I have been thinking about this, and I honestly, I feel like it's probably 6 months to a year. Like, I recently had a luxury wedding photographer sign with me who, she has been like very active in my DMs, and I've been like giving her advice since May of last year and she booked in May of this year. And it took a year, but I also, like, in my heart, know she's going to be a long-term client. So it's like, yeah, the courting process is like a little bit longer, but I also do have a luxury service, you know, like not every business needs social media management or strategy. Like not everyone can afford that. But I do think that even though it can take like, you know, 6 months to a year, it's something that's worth it and like going to I feel like for business owners, like especially service-based business owners, the way that you make money and like keep money is like having a great customer service experience and keeping them for a long time.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love where this is headed because there's two things coming to mind. One is that like marketing is a long game and it's a long-term
Yes.
strategy. And most people don't start marketing until they're like, oh shit, I'm out of referrals, I'm out
Yeah.
of leads, until they dry up. And then they're like, oh, I need to do my marketing. And it's like,
Right.
yep, you do. But then they start marketing, whatever that is, social media, email, paid, whatever. Maybe it's a variety of those things. And they're like, I want my marketing to work. And it's
Right
like
now. Yeah.
marketing is building trust. Like marketing equals building trust.
Right.
And like you said, like building trust, especially for like a luxury service, a high ticket offer, a close contact container where like you're really working with an individual, that's going to take a lot longer than just like a freebie or like something really inexpensive. Like, and yeah, like I say minimum 3 months. I like what you said, like 6 months to a year. And
Yeah.
I've had very similar experiences of like talking with clients. One of my clients now, we followed each other for like 2 years before she started working with me.
Yeah.
And we would DM and whatever, but it was like, it just wasn't the right time. But then like that trust was built, just like you're saying. And now she's like one of my long-term best clients that I have. Yeah.
I feel like too, like from our industry, and I'm sure other industries that are listening, like giving that free advice while you are like I'm saying courting, but like while you're kind of courting them, because then they can use it and see that it works. Like when this photographer hired me, she was like, I know that what you are going to do for me works because it's been working. And so it was just like a very easy decision for her. And you know, kind of back to what we were saying earlier, like this is not the time to gatekeep if you're trying to make money.
Yeah, because like ultimately she still wanted to hire you because she trusted you because like what you were saying was working. And she could have kept doing that on her own, but she doesn't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
So like she's still ultimately going to hire you at your high ticket offer.
Right. I just think that sometimes people feel nervous that like they're never going to get hired, and it's like you have to believe in yourself a little bit. Like please believe that this is going to work. Like if you have a good process and you've seen it work for other clients, like it's going to work for other people too in the future.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of it as like a pie graph. It's like your messaging matters this much, your trust factor matters this much, your offer matters this much, and then it's like also delusion. Like
Yep.
You're gonna get hired. Success is inevitable. Like, you got this, or else you're right. You're gonna give the vibe that like you're unhireable.
Right. Yeah. Just believe in yourself. I think that matters.
Me too. Oh, okay. I love this. So, how do you recommend your clients balance being like authentic and open, while maintaining that like authority level of trust? Like, what should they be sharing or not sharing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think what I just think the best option is for this is, first off, I don't think there's one answer. I think that it's important that you experiment. So if you share something one day and you're like, okay, I'm feeling like a little bit of a vulnerability hangover, then like, you know, to not share that anymore. But I think that, I just think that it does matter to share like authentic and vulnerable topics on social media. But like, I would say, for example, kind of a rule of thumb I have for myself is if something hasn't worked for me, I don't share it until like 6 months to a year later. I don't want to share like right now, like I just had tried this strategy, it completely flopped, because I want to share like how I fixed it. So I think that matters when you are trying to set yourself up as an authority in your industry, is to like not share fails immediately. Like all of us have fails, right? Like everybody does.
Yeah.
We're human. It's just like natural. But I think that it matters that you're like, okay, I had this fail, but here's what I did to fix it. And like, maybe you didn't fix it, but I think that not sharing it immediately is probably a good advice I would give people.
I agree with you. I feel like I've seen a lot of, I keep bringing this conversation back to coaches, and I don't know why, I just think it applies mostly to them, but
Yeah.
Coaches sharing like, oh, like I'm having a really low income year or things like that. And I'm like, there's a balance to be had, right? Like, yes, you should be honest, and you shouldn't be freaking lying saying you're making all this money when you're not or whatever. But I think it's a risky place that the coaching industry goes using income claims, period, because of this. Then you do have a low year, and it's like, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I just kind of don't trust you unless you have a really good reason for that low income year, that it was intentional and you crafted it that way or whatever. But like, that's not usually the message that I'm seeing.
Right. Like as a consumer, when someone's like, I'm having a low income month or year, I'm kind of like, so why are other people not trusting you? Like, why are other people not hiring you? It doesn't make me feel like I want to put my money there, because I'm like, okay, well, if like other people aren't filling it, then there's a reason, and like I don't want to risk my investment on you.
Yeah.
I think it would be better just to not share.
Yeah. Or like you're saying, wait for a year or whatever for you to like navigate that and like come out on the other side and be like, okay, like here's what I learned. I learned that my messaging got wadded up because I was trying to pivot or blah, blah, blah. Like, and here's how I navigated out of that and came back on the other side. Like, because I don't expect coaches also to be like perfect or anything.
Right.
Like, I know that they're probably going to have a lower month, a higher month, whatever. But I think it's like sharing from what you learned versus, like you said, like sharing from the wound in the moment.
Right. I recently I actually recently shared a carousel that it was one of my highest performing posts of this year, which really surprised me. But I talked about how in 2021 or 2022, I had a group coaching program with 3 other coaches that just like flopped. And it did well for a while, and then eventually it flopped. And I kind of talked about like what happened, like how we moved through it, like what I've learned from that. And I think that having that whole process, and I mean, people are like, this is tea, like why did it flop? But like, I think having the whole process made the post a lot stronger and showed like my strength as a business owner and social media manager and strategist, versus than if I'd have shared that in 2022 and been like, okay, this flopped because the coaches were just not aligned in the program.
Yeah.
Like people have been like, okay, so why are we sharing this?
Yeah. Or like now it feels weird that I like that somebody did invest in it or whatever. It's like, oh, now it feels weird. But like once you're through it and past it and whatever, like it does come off a lot different. I feel like the way that shows up in my business too is like I've had clients who have like had some rough months, right? Like we've been sharing good content, but like their reach is low and it's like, ugh, it's so annoying. Like technically this isn't successful or whatever.
Right.
But like I, of course, never share about that in the moment. One, because I think it perpetuates the story that it's not working. Right. And I don't think that's healthy. And 2, I know that it's just small shifts we're making that are going to get it back to where it should be. And then ultimately, like, I'm happy to share the process. Like, here's what happened. This dropped off. Engagement was lower. Here's what happened. Here's all the factors. Here's what we changed. And then now look at her launch, it sold out or whatever. But it is just like, to be trustworthy, I think you have to be a little bit vulnerable, but you just have to be like strategically vulnerable, right? Like when is the right time to share this story?
Yeah. I think like I think all of us could hear this. I think like business and marketing, it ebbs and flows for everybody. Like we're not all Amazon where we're just like continuously like tripling our income, our profits every month. A lot of people are solopreneurs or they have smaller teams, and like there's going to be an ebb and flow. It's okay, but I just think that sharing the ebb and the flow a little bit, like you said, I just think it matters to be strategic with it and not come from that energy of desperation. Like I think sometimes people share they're having a low income month and hope that people will book them. And I just think that energy is palpable and people feel it, and that they don't want that energy in their space. And of course not. Why would they?
Instead of sharing that, just flip it into how can you help whoever it is get to the place they want to go. Like, because I think that can be top of mind. Oh, I'm having a low income month. I need to get some more sales. I need to book another client. Okay, let's pause for a second. What am I going to deliver for these clients? Like, what is the result I'm going to provide? Okay, I'm going to share that because that's what's going to get me the client,
Yes, exactly. I agree.
I love. Okay, we talked a little bit about like what this trust building content looks like in stories. It's kind of like soft selling, continuously sharing results. How do you feel like that? Does it look different in feed content or? Yeah.
I think that it can look different. It can look the same. I know that a lot of business owners who do their own social media, they may not have the time to create like different content for stories or like captions or reels. But I just think coming back to your process, sharing how you do that, sharing how other people have had, like what results other clients have had. Like, I guess I'm also assuming that you're sharing this from a point of like an experienced business owner, because you and I both are experienced business owners. I guess if you're also like, I don't have, and like, I want your opinion on this too, but if you're like, I haven't had a lot of client experience, like maybe you are like having a little bit more like low ticket or effort offers to get those experiences that you can share.
100%. Like I've always been the person who says like, you're probably going to have to work for cheap or free at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you're just not going to come out of the gate charging $10,000 for social media management. Like you don't have the experience. And if you don't think you have the experience, then you don't have the experience. And you need to get the experience. Right. And this goes for any industry, but that's not a bad thing. Like being a beginner, being in those early stages is so valuable. You figure out so much in those stages. So it's nothing to be ashamed about, but it is like, I would recommend having like a lower ticket offer. Like for a social media manager, like maybe your offer is, I'll do a grid aesthetic like refresh for you.
Right.
You don't even have to like get on the phone with a client. You can just take their grid, rearrange it, like show them what you would do differently, send it to them. There you go. And then you're getting feedback from them. Oh my God, I love this so much. There you go. There's proof. Like it looks a lot better. That's like a visual representation too. Or maybe it's like bio refreshes. Maybe it's just audits that you're doing. You could even host like a challenge, like a 10-day challenge or something where you're just sharing your expertise to this degree that you have it, which may not be everything, and that's okay. And then you're getting people to try it, you're getting results, you're getting feedback, and then you have like more of that proof to share. But yeah, it definitely like, you may even have to like ask your dad if you can do his social media for him as an example. Like, and that's an okay place to be in. You don't have to feel shame about it.
I feel okay. So one of my favorite movies of all time is Sing 2. Have you seen this?
I haven't.
Oh my God. Okay.
Ready.
So in Sing 2, it's like a cartoon. So, like go into it with those expectations. But basically there's this scene where I always get so emotional. Like I literally will cry. and they are at the beginning, like they're starting their process together and like they're creating a play. And I always get so emotional because I think the beginning stages of business are like you have this energy that is just so creative, and like the further you're in business, you're like always trying to get back to that energy of just like, I want to create, like I want to do this. And I think that like it's not a bad stage to be in. Like you may not be making like as much money as you hope yet, but you do a lot of learning in that time, and it's so valuable and exciting.
It just is. Like, you
Yeah.
learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about what
Yes.
you do and don't care about. Like, this is kind of a side tangent, but when I first started as a social media manager, like, I just really thought you had to do full management. And I thought you had to do
Right?
blogs, and I thought you had to do emails, and I thought you had to do ads and Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest and everything. And like, I took a course early on that kind of taught that way of doing it, which they're not wrong for teaching that. But like,
Right.
that's what I went into it with. And then I was miserable. Like, I was doing full management for all these clients, and I was like, I literally hate this. Like,
Yes.
I hate it. And then I had like this awakening of being like, oh, I could actually just do the parts of it that I enjoy doing and I'm good at. Like, I actually could just do that. And that's when my offers really got refined. It's when I launched Instagram 888, which is now our signature offer that everyone is on. That
offer is so aligned for you and your business.
It just is. And like, I love it. I love it. Our clients who are on it love it. Our client retention on that offer is so high because they love it and it works. And it's like, I was trying in the early stages of my business to be everything to everyone. And I did have to feel that pain of like, this is not right. I don't like this. But it was like incredible. I'm like, cool. Look how smart I am. I made this
and now
offer.
you know.
Yeah. And there's no shame in the journey of getting there. It can be hard. It can be frustrating. It can be annoying. But it's like, that's where you start. And it's so cool to watch where you go from there.
Absolutely. I feel like at the beginning of my business, I had a similar experience. Like, I thought if I was doing management, I had to do coaching too. And like, I hated it. It just was like, I was like, I don't, like, I know that I'm like giving these people information, but a lot of the times they wouldn't execute. And then I would be like, they're not spending their money. Like, I don't feel an integrity and like this energy exchange. And then one day I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. And like, some people will, I guess like now, like 5 years deep, like people will hire me for coaching, but like the only way you learn that is you experience that you don't like it. Like, that's the only way.
And like, I remember offering coaching and stuff too, which now IG888 is like kind of a combination, coaching and content creation, which feels good. But coaching, like education was kind of hard for me because I didn't feel confident in being an educator. I'm like, I do know how to do this, but I felt the same way as you. Like, you tell someone what to do and then they don't do it. And then you're like, but like, you paid me, but like, this all feels weird and confusing now.
Yeah.
And it was just like cool to be like, yeah, actually, I don't have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I can spend my time how I want.
Yeah. And like, there's educators that are really good at it. Like, just learn from them.
Absolutely. They're all over Threads.
Threads has been wild lately, honestly. It's kind of a scary place. It's always been
It
a little
is.
scary.
It's not as scary as Twitter, but it is like, I fear one day it may become so.
I agree. Okay, a couple more questions for you. What would you say to somebody who thinks that focusing on building trust is like too slow of a process or not direct enough for their business goals?
Yeah, I think that like the story that comes to mind for me is the parable of like, is it the hare and the rabbit? Is that what it? No, it's the turtle and the hare.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like, you know, sometimes I just like, especially in social media, but even like business in general, I think that the faster you try and push it, that maybe you're not laying that foundation as well. And I think that like, do you want your business to be here in 2 years, or do you want your business to be here in 5 and 10 years? Right. And like, laying that foundation of trust matters. Like, showing showing up in a space of integrity and alignment matters for a business that's going to be here in the long term. I just like, I don't know. Like when people are trying to like only hit virality and they're trying to hit these goals that are frankly frivolous, I just don't see their business being long term. And I just think that like building trust with your audience and your clients is something that's going to keep you around for a long time. But more importantly, Jaiden, it's going to get you paid. Like that's why we're all here, is to like get paid. And it's like if you don't,
everyone knows
like,
it.
People want to spend money on people that they trust and like service providers or coaches that they trust. And I think that maybe like you should reconsider your goals as a business owner if you want fast results. Like I just don't think fast results, I mean, sure, maybe they can sometimes, but I don't think that they bring long-term success.
Yeah. And I really would like for people who, if you're like really, really attached to that quick success, I would ask you, like, who are you looking at that you think has that? Because I bet it wasn't as fast as you think. Like,
right.
You know, we were talking about Amazon earlier, and it's like Amazon is popped off, yes, but there was a journey, even whatever the hell his name is. I can't even think of it because I don't like him. Jeff Bezos. You know, he didn't just come out of the womb a billionaire. Like he had ideas, he had failed ideas, he had a process he went through to eventually create Amazon, and then it is what it is today.
Right, like he started as a bookstore and pivoted to like the largest e-commerce store in existence and probably ever in existence. Unfortunately.
Yeah, so Jeff, it's like I hate him, but also like I need my stuff, and Whole Foods delivers.
I know.
It's so painful. I can't think about it. But I do love my Whole Foods delivery. Anyways, I think even like the coaches you're looking at online that have this really quick success, I also think you need to open your eyes to the fact that that success may not be maintained at that level. Like a lot of people go like this, boom, they pop off, they make tons of money, that a program does really well, and then they kind of taper off. And then they might have another big thing, and then they taper off, they might have another big thing. But what we saw from 2020 to now is like a lot of those coaches who, I'm just using the word coaches, but it could be any service provider that popped off in 2020. A lot of them aren't even doing what they were doing anymore.
Right.
Because
it's shocking.
Like they had this cool offer, it popped off, it was relevant at that time, the timing was great, everything, they made a bunch of money. And then, you know, in my opinion, they all went passive too quickly. Like they turned their businesses into passive income. But what people don't realize about passive income is that it still takes time and effort.
Yeah,
even though Jenna Kutcher has all this passive income, she's still probably a lot more involved than you think. I bet she works more hours than you think in a day on her business. I don't really like her, but still. Yeah. I'm just using it as an example, you know? Yeah, I just think like that quick, the longevity of building and maintaining trust and having that be a priority in your business is going to serve you so much longer than any like quick thing you could do. Like it's just it's for long-term success.
Yeah, I think like something, and I'm sure you tell your clients this as well, but I like to go in with the attitude that I would rather have like 100 really engaged followers than 1,000 lukewarm followers, right? Like those 100 people are going to potentially buy or refer. And it's just like going deep with the audience that you currently have and like being grateful for them and treating them with gratitude is something that's going to have longevity.
I agree so much. Okay, one more question on this and then we'll have our fun question last. But how do you help your clients measure success when they are in more of like a trust building space and maybe like the conversions haven't happened yet? How are you
Right.
helping them like track success?
Right. I think that this one's kind of hard. I think that like when you start out with social media strategy and management, like you said, it's something that can take a longer time. I mean, there are one thing I love to always have is just goals, like goals that we can accomplish short term so that we're both feeling like we are accomplishing something, and then goals that we can kind of have more long term. So like one example off the top of my head, like please tell me if you agree with this or not, but like for many of my clients, I like them to have within 30 days like a 2 to 5% follower increase. And even though followers are a vanity metric, like I want to be drawing people to their page, and like I just feel like that's something that we can track together. And even over 90 days, I love to have at least a 10% follower growth. But just like goals that we can look at together. And then if we don't hit those, why did we not hit those? Yeah, I think that's like just attainable goals is what I like to work on.
I love that. And I feel like while followers are a vanity metric, they also can help you feel better about the direction you're going in.
Yes.
And who doesn't want to serve more people? I mean, like you're lying if you don't want to serve more people, you know, like
Right.
everyone does. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. And I think it's just knowing that, like knowing that the number isn't everything. The growth is fun. It is exciting. It can give you that extra momentum, but yeah, it's not everything. With our clients, we don't focus a ton on metrics, especially at the early stages, because usually when clients come to us, they have either been not posting at all or
Right.
posting really inconsistently. So usually my first goal with our clients is like, can we get you posting 4 times a week at minimum?
Absolutely.
And can you build the trust with yourself that you're gonna post and you're gonna make it part of your routine and you're gonna actually do what we're creating for you? Because ultimately, like we can't see what's working and what's not if there's not enough content going out to make those distinctions. So that's kind of what we do earlier on, but I don't think there's anything wrong with the follower growth. We also track their follower growth and their engagement rate growth over the time that they're working with us. But yeah.
Yeah, I just think like having goals is so important. You know, it's like we work towards something, it worked or it didn't work, let's figure it out. Obviously, like followers is just one, but like, yeah, engagement is another one. Like, obviously, if you're hiring a social media manager or strategist, like you want more conversations, like you want to grow that community, and like that's engagement shows that. I don't think numbers lie.
No, they just teach us though. Like they don't lie, but at the same time, they're not everything. Like they're telling a story, and it's like, what are we going to do with that information? It doesn't have to be shameful or whatever. Like it can just be a guide. I'm with you.
Yeah, you can just like, I think it's hard because as business owners, especially in social media, we attach a lot of our worth to those numbers, and it's hard to not, but it's important to not.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. Okay, my last question for you is, what is one piece of advice you wish that you could give your younger self? This could be like in business or just like in life.
Oh my gosh. You know what's funny is like we're talking about trust, and I feel like I would say to trust yourself more and like know that you're making the right decisions. Like I grew up very religious. I'm not anymore, and like that was a hard process, but it's like I wish I would have trusted myself. That would have been less painful. Like when I wanted to start a business, I probably wanted to start a business in 2018 or 19, and I was nervous, and eventually when I did pull the trigger on it, like I wish I would have trusted myself sooner and just know that I make good decisions. And I think that would be my answer.
I love that so much. I feel like self-trust really is like the foundation for a really good, successful, happy life, because it's like you do know what you're doing.
Yeah, my intuition's not wrong often. And like we all make mistakes, right? Like everybody is going to make mistakes. That's part of the process. But I think trusting yourself it makes life a little easier.
Yeah, and like mistakes just have this like energy to them where you feel like a mistake is wrong, but mistakes are like unavoidable. And like,
Yep,
how can you look at them with neutrality and be like, yeah, maybe that was a mistake, but I just was doing the best I could with the information I had, and
absolutely. And you're going to
maybe
be
it
better
wasn't
moving forward
perfect.
now.
Yeah,
What a
and like
treat.
it's just like part of the journey. Like, what do you
Absolutely.
mean? Yeah, I love that so much. And
Thank you.
thank you for coming on the pod. Do you have like any new offers? Are you accepting new clients?
I would say I'm accepting clients after October. So no, like more quarter 4 clients is what I am. I'm like a little full right now, which is so lovely. I also have the art to soft selling guide, which I love that guide. It's like, I just think with social media, stuff changes so quickly, and I wanted to create something that was an evergreen skill or trait. And so if you want to learn how to soft sell, I have a guide for that.
I think you all should get that. We'll make sure to link it
Thank you.
and follow Jordan. And thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. Yes. Bye-bye.